They cannot get to this guy, and this is somebody who is very much an achiever. He goes out, he's a winner, he wants to do it, he wins. What they said about Jude not celebrating that, it was complete fabrication, a lie.
Here's Bellingham, who's got laser-guided focus, and is jinking and weaving and scoring a sensational
This is my club.
goal.
I love the club to bits, and I die for this club. And I hope I showed that in the performances while I was here.
Everybody loves an underdog story. You know, the kind where the main character comes from nothing, struggles through life, faces every obstacle head on, defeats the villain in the end, and becomes a hero. A hero who is supported, admired, praised, maybe even worshipped. But this is not that kind of story. It was supposed to be, but it turns out that our main character, Jude Bellingham, is not really classified as an underdog by a lot of people, even though his path to the big stage was very similar to the one most underdogs take. His career did not start in the fancy academy like La Masia, Cobham, or the Ajax Academy. It started here, at a club that surprisingly rhymes with his name, Birmingham City. A club that is not known for producing superstars. Most players from this club never even make it to the big stage. But Bellingham was different. He joined Birmingham City at the age of 8, made his first team appearance at 16, became the youngest goalscorer in the club's history, and here's a crazy fact. Birmingham City retired his jersey number after he left the club in 2020 to join Borussia Dortmund. Meaning no future Birmingham City player would ever put on a jersey with that number again. I don't know exactly what he did for the club to deserve such a gesture, because something like this is usually done for club legends, players who had extraordinary significance. To do this for a 17-year-old player sounded crazy to a lot of people. But maybe the club saw something that the fans didn't.
It's a done deal. One of English football's most exciting talents, Jude Bellingham, has signed for Borussia Dortmund for an initial £25 million.
Bellingham moved from Birmingham City to Borussia Dortmund in July 2020. The transfer fee was around £25 million, making him one of the most expensive 17-year-old player in history at the time. His time at Dortmund transformed him from a promising young teenager into an elite midfielder. He scored on his Dortmund debut, making him one of the club's youngest goal scorers. At Dortmund, Bellingham wasted no time in showing the world how special he was. But his breakthrough season came in the 2022-2023 Bundesliga season. He was scoring goals and giving assists, while also dictating play. Then he broke a record that was held by fellow English player Wayne Rooney. He scored in 4 consecutive Champions League games, becoming the youngest English teenager to do so, joining the likes of Haaland and Mbappe. On October 5th, 2022, Bellingham became the youngest captain for Dortmund in the Champions League when he led the team in a group stage win against Sevilla. That Dortmund team had an average age of 26.2 years old, meaning there were players way older than Bellingham in that team, showing you how much trust the coach and teammates had in him. To say he was improving at an astonishing pace would be an understatement. In 132 appearances for Dortmund, he scored 24 goals and provided 25 assists in all competitions. Maybe those stats do not sound that impressive to you. Maybe those figures are not mind-blowing. Well, that's because you forgot that this guy was a midfielder and he was still developing. No teenager in the world was putting up those kind of numbers. Not even Pedri, Gavi, Giovanni Reina, or Musiala. With stats like this, it was only a matter of time before a bigger club like Liverpool, Manchester City, Chelsea, PSG and Real Madrid came for him.
I think a lot of team wants him. We all have an idea of where he might end up, Jimmy, right?
Real Madrid have signed Jude Bellingham. It is confirmed it's a 4-year deal.
Carlo Ancelotti wants him to be the key part of this midfield.
In June 2023, Bellingham completed a high-profile transfer to Real Madrid for a fee reported at around £103 million, making him one of the biggest midfield transfers in recent history. Bellingham wasn't signed by Madrid to score goals. He was signed as part of Madrid's project to replace their aging midfielders. But what happened that season shocked everyone. He was putting up numbers that most strikers would be jealous of, scoring 23 goals and providing 12 assists. He had a total of 35 goal contributions by the end of the season. In the history of Real Madrid, no midfielder has had a season like this in their career while playing for Real Madrid, not even legends like Zidane, Beckham, Toni Kroos, Luka Modric. But Bellingham did it in his debut season. He scored 10 goals in his first 10 La Liga games for Real Madrid. The last player to do something like this was Cristiano Ronaldo. His season became legendary after he scored in his first two El Clasico. He became the first Real Madrid player to score in his first two games against Barcelona since Ruud van Nistelrooy in 2007. This turned him into an instant fan favorite. He wasn't only putting up performances like this in La Liga, he was also doing it in the Champions League. Bellingham won the Champions League and the La Liga that season with Madrid, and with the kind of season he had, he was in the Ballon d'Or conversation. So far, Bellingham has followed the path familiar to most underdogs. He began at a small club like Birmingham City, moved abroad as a teenager, proved himself, became a key figure, then attracted the attention of a giant club, and dominated in his first season. If this was a movie, everyone watching would be rooting for him. But like I said at the start of this video, everybody loves an underdog story. But what happens when the underdog becomes a villain, or in this case, is made to look like a villain?
Fan of Bellingham? Is he a good player or great player?
He's decent, but I think that the hype's getting over the top for him. I think he's pretty over. I think he's over. I don't even think he's the best player in Real Madrid's team right now. I think.
Is he overrated?
I think Tchouaméni's better than him and Camavinga.
Bellingham's rise wasn't just limited to club football. At just 21, he became one of England's most influential players, a central figure in the national team's midfield, helping them win games. But his performances for England wasn't enough to keep the media from targeting him. On a night when England completed a flawless qualifying campaign, 8 wins, 22 goals scored, none conceded, they became the first European team in a qualifying group of 6 or more matches to achieve all wins and 0 goals conceded. But the spotlight did not fall on the team's achievements. It fell on Bellingham, and not for good reasons, like him winning the man of the match, which he did. The media decided to focus on a more interesting story. They chose to talk about how Bellingham swapped shirts with an Albanian player, and then went ahead to fabricate a story about Bellingham not celebrating with his teammates when Harry Kane scored. But why was the media manufacturing stories about Bellingham? Why was he their main target?
I don't think they're ready for a black superstar like that who can move like Jude's moving. You know, they can't touch him, like I just said. He goes out there, he performs, he does what he does. He says who else. It's too uppity for these people.
Maybe the saying that the world loves a winner, but only as long as they don't win too much, is true.